Life in the promised land is not always as sweet as it looks from afar. That's what some of the thousands of French Jews who have left for Israel are finding out. Whatever their reasons were for moving, success is never guaranteed. DONNA BOUHNICH made Aliyah. She emigrated to Israel, where she lives off of her French retirement pension. She says that younger immigrants often have a much tougher time than she did.
My nephew lasted 2 years out here. He's a computer engineer. He's perfectly bilingual. He never found a job and had to go back to France after 2 years. That's unacceptable.
Some have solved this problem by spending time in both countries.
Many French folks have great jobs in France, so they don't want to lose their position. So they end up sending their families to live in Israel while they stay behind to work in France. They go back and forth between the two countries.
Learning a new language can also prove very challenging, especially when it comes to dealing with issues related to one's health.
C'est pour la prise en charge de FENWICK?
Je sais pas ce que c'est, moi, en français, en hébreu. Voilà, c'est ça qu'elle voulait, qui lui manquait. Alors, je vais tout vous laisser. Ça, je sais pas quoi ça, j'ai rien compris.
Aware that some of his patients have a hard time with Hebrew, Dr. Thierry Gage set up the first ever French-speaking clinic in Israel.
One of my concerns when I started this clinic was to avoid creating a French ghetto in Israel. That being said, we answered a real need for people out here. Patients tell me that if it weren't for this center, they would have left Israel.
There are people who manage to get by in Israel without knowing the local language. Some of them land odd jobs working for businesses like this one.
So here it is. This is our call center. Working here, you have new immigrants, but also people who've been here longer.
We're in Israel, but everyone speaks French here.
Well, that's true. It's almost like being in France. Here, there's no real need to adapt. Everyone speaks French. It's easier that way.
When it comes to deciphering local mail, the manager has his own tricks.
When we receive a letter, we're in the very same situation as people who don't know how to read. So we use this application on our smartphones. I'll show you how it works. You scan the document, and the translation pops up. And here you can read July 16th, 2014, and so on.
So if it weren't for this phone app,
well, I'd be toast. Otherwise, here's another trick. If you see numbers at the bottom of the letter, write a check to this amount and send it.
Thanks to state funding, these students are entirely taken care of for the first few months of their new lives in Israel. They take Hebrew lessons several days a week to help with their integration into Israeli society. Charlie already has a job and is rather confident about his future here.
With any new challenge, the risk of failure is always there. One needs to be well prepared. You can't just say, hey, let's move there and we'll see what we'll do once we get there. No way. You have to think ahead.
In 2014, Jewish emigration from France to Israel was greater than from any other country. However, Israeli authorities don't share information or statistics concerning those who did not stay.